Hello everyone, welcome back. For today's build, I had this really nice log that I felt was the perfect size for a fairy house. But I didn't want to make just any fairy house, so I figured I'd make the coolest fairy house ever built. And of course we start by cutting the log with a lightsaber. You can find this full video on my Patreon. This will be available on my website, link is in the description. If you haven't already, please subscribe and enjoy the video. When I was done, I was left with three usable pieces. I then tried to shape the roof and hollow it out with hand tools, but I figured it'd be more fun to put on my Rick and Morty hoodie and hollow this out with a lightsaber as usual. But just note that if you're going to be playing with a lightsaber in your garage, don't drop it perfectly vertical, like I did. So once you've contacted the president and worked with his team to stop the lightsaber from going to the core of the earth, next we sharpen our charcoal pen and we draw the outline for the front door. Which is not the shape that I actually ended up going with. Not only was this shape easier to cut, but I like the pointed doors. They feel more, they fit the vibe better for a fairy house. I then sanded my door frame pieces to shape, and if you notice, this is just a random orbital sander being held in place by a vise. I don't know how many people use this method of sanding, but it is way easier than holding it. It's also cost effective, so you don't have to buy a giant belt sander, and it works perfectly. I then glued the house together. When it came time to drill the holes for the windows, there's a few things that I have to get right. Not only do they have to be centered, but they have to be at the same level on each side. So to achieve that, I used an extra long drill bit to drill a center hole, which I then followed up with the hole bit. It was then time to install the door, and you can find that full process in the Patreon video, which will be linked below. I glued the hinge initially just to hold it in place so that I could then put the screws in. However, at this point, something odd happened. Two solicitors decided to have a business meeting in my driveway. The exchange got a little heated between us as I asked him to leave. But if you want that full interaction, you can find that on Patreon.
Oh, hello.
So anyway, I was able to get my screws in the door. Next, it was time to make the crossbars for the windows. Each bar is pressure fitted, so it has to be cut exactly to size. And if it's off a little bit, you have to redo it. So this took some patience. That took me 30 minutes. Wow. Using my fine-tuned, high-precision premium bandsaw, I made some 45-degree cuts on trim pieces for the roof. It's not the most accurate dial. I hope it was 45 degrees. Here we go. I then cut my shingles, and if you'd like to see the whole designing of the roof, including the light installation, you can find that on Patreon. Originally, the light was supposed to poke through the bottom, but it shined very bright through the windows and it was uncomfortable to look at, so I think this was a much better design. While it's hard to see in this footage, it turned out well. I then got a roll of static grass and cut it to the size of my base. And the design was either between this wooden walkway or I was going to cut out little wood cookies to make stepping stones. Wood stepping stones. Wooden steps. Not like stairs. I mean like little, you know what I mean. So I decorated the main housing with real gold flowers because this is the greatest fairy house ever made and this fairy needs status. Also, I installed some daisies and butterflies that glow in the dark. While the flowers were nice, it was missing a touch of nature, so I added moss. And then it was time to install the handle. It was at this point that I realized I forgot to stamp the bottom with my branding stamp, and I thought it was too late. I thought it wasn't going to turn out. I tried it anyway off camera, and I really wish I got it because it worked perfectly. Anyway, I wanted to put some stones in the yard, so I went to my local creek, found some miniature stones, brought them home, cleaned them off, and installed them, along with a bunch of flowers and plants. Now it was time to find a location for our fairy, and while you can put her on the roof, I felt it would be cool to have her in the yard on a little chair, so I started building a little chair. This might be a good time to address scaling. For anyone wondering, I don't build anything to a specific scale, and if you're wondering about the fairy being a disproportionate size to the house, keep in mind fairy lore. Fairies can change to whatever size they want. They can be as big as a real human or microscopic, so this fairy's proportion to the house is irrelevant. And it's a mystical land. Don't overthink it. Then I installed black lights and glow-in-the-dark mushrooms and made sure this was the greatest fairy house ever built. If you would like to get your hands on this one, it will be available on my website. Link is in the description. Get it while it lasts, but if you don't, not to worry. This is only the greatest fairy house until the next one that I build. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe. And remember, you can get 30% off anything on the site by subscribing to the Patreon. Have a good day.